In March 2025, BYD dropped a bombshell on the EV world, an electric vehicle platform that could add 250 miles of range in just 5 minutes. That's faster than grabbing a coffee and quicker than filling up at a gas pump. Naturally, the industry took notice. For years, charging time was the Achilles heel of electric cars. Sure, EVs were clean and cool, but nobody wanted to wait 45 minutes just to top up the battery. Then BYD came along and flipped the script. "We wanted to solve the real problem, not just impress on paper," said a BYD engineer during the reveal. And it's more than a flashy headline. This announcement rattled traditional automakers. Because if this kind of rapid charging becomes the norm, one of the last reasons to stick with gas is gone. It's not just a performance upgrade. It's a shift in how we think about refueling. But here's the thing. How does BYD make this work without cooking the battery or compromising safety? Let's take a closer look at the platform that powers this promise. Supercharging the future, BYD's breakthrough platform. This revolutionary speed isn't just about bigger chargers, it's about smarter tech. BYD's latest platform uses ultra-high voltage architecture, advanced cooling systems, and its signature Blade battery to handle the heat. Literally. The Blade battery is the quiet hero here. It's built using lithium iron phosphate, LFP chemistry, known for safety, stability, and longer lifespan. Plus, it's designed in a flat, blade-like shape that cools quickly and resists overheating, even during rapid charge cycles. Speed means nothing if it's not safe, one BYD battery lead said. The tech has to protect the battery at every level. The system monitors temperature, load, and voltage in real time, so the battery only charges at high speeds when it's absolutely safe to do so. Still, a fast car is only as good as the road it drives on. And in BYD's case, that road is a brand new charging network. Building the highway for hypercharging. You can't have a 5-minute EV charge without the right chargers, and BYD knows that. That's why they're rolling out megawatt-level charging stations across China, built specifically to support these ultra-fast EVs. Each station pushes 4 times the power of most Western fast chargers. This isn't just innovation, it's infrastructure. And BYD isn't relying on governments to do the work. They're building the network themselves. "We build the car, the battery, and now the plug," a BYD official joked. Why stop halfway? While countries like the US still debate EV policies and rollout plans, BYD is paving highways with 1,000 kilowatt chargers and backing it up with data, speed, and performance. But as always, with hype comes skepticism. Is 5-minute charging really that simple? Hype or reality? Examining the 5-minute promise. Let's be real. Charging 250 miles in 5 minutes sounds incredible. But like most tech claims, the devil's in the details. EV charging doesn't happen at full speed the whole time. It follows a curve. First, it starts slow, ramps up between 20% and 80%, then slows again as the battery nears full capacity. This protects the battery from damage. So when BYD says 5-minute charge, they're likely talking about going from 10% to around 60%. Impressive, yes, but not a miracle. Experts also note that pushing this much energy into a car in such a short time requires serious thermal management and a very powerful local grid. It's doable, one EV analyst explained, but not everywhere, not all the time. Even so, it moves the goalposts, and that matters. Because BYD isn't just chasing Tesla anymore, they've already passed them. BYD surpasses Tesla, a new leader in EV sales. In 2024, BYD officially outsold Tesla, delivering over 4 million EVs worldwide. That number includes both fully electric and plug-in hybrids. But it still puts BYD in the global lead. And it's not just volume. BYD's lineup is massive, from affordable hatchbacks to high-end sedans and SUVs. They're meeting every customer, every budget, and every market head-on. BYD doesn't just sell EVs, they sell options, said an industry insider. They've got a vehicle for everyone. Tesla, meanwhile, still focuses on premium segments. BYD is taking the same tech and spreading it across a wider audience, and it's working. Up next, we'll dive into how BYD is moving beyond China and reshaping the global EV map. Made in China, built for the world. BYD didn't get comfortable after conquering China, they went global. Fast. With rising demand for affordable, reliable EVs in regions like Europe, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, BYD saw a golden opportunity. But instead of shipping cars overseas, they went a step further. They started building them there. Factories are now popping up in places like Hungary, Brazil, and Thailand. The strategy is smart. Assemble local, sell global. It lowers tariffs, boosts job creation, and helps BYD fly under political radar. We're not just exporting cars, a company spokesperson said. We're building partnerships in every country we enter. Even the vehicles themselves are being customized. From climate controls tuned to tropical heat in Southeast Asia to tech packages suited for European buyers, BYD is listening and adapting. And that flexibility is giving them a serious edge over Western companies still stuck in one-size-fits-all models. But what really drives all this global momentum? The answer lies under the hood, or more precisely, in BYD's labs. The secret sauce, BYD's innovation engine. What really makes BYD stand out in the crowded electric vehicle world? It's not just the price tags or the performance numbers. It's what's under the hood and behind the scenes. At the core of BYD's rise is something most car companies can't claim: a full-stack innovation engine. While traditional automakers rely on a vast web of suppliers, often outsourcing batteries, chips, software, and electronics, BYD does almost everything in-house. From the blade battery to the electric drive motors, from semiconductors to vehicle control units, they've built a system that's vertically integrated and ruthlessly efficient. That level of control gives BYD an edge in speed, cost, and scalability. If they want to tweak a battery formula or redesign a chip to improve range or reduce heat, they don't need to wait on a partner. They just walk across the hallway to the next lab. As one of BYD's lead engineers put it, think of us like a tech company that happens to build cars, and they've got the numbers to back it up. Over 25,000 patents and a workforce of more than 40,000 engineers. That's more than some automakers have total employees. This isn't just a car company, it's a research powerhouse. Their R&D teams are constantly experimenting with better battery chemistries, cooling techniques, and power electronics. They're not waiting for industry standards to tell them what's next. They're out front, writing the blueprint. That's how BYD was able to launch a 945V platform, enable 5-minute charging, and still maintain long-term battery health. And the impact? It's not just in lab tests, it's on the road. You feel it in the quick response when you accelerate. You see it in the vehicle's range. You trust it every time you fast charge and still get home safe. Even their luxury EVs, like the Han and Tang, are showcasing this innovation, wrapped in sleek designs and priced far below the competition. They're proof that innovation doesn't have to come at a premium, but innovation isn't just about flashy features. For BYD, it's also about practicality and sustainability, making sure the future they're building isn't just exciting, but also responsible. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Performance without the price tag. Luxury EVs used to mean one thing: big money. For most buyers, the idea of getting high performance, premium interiors, and sleek tech in an electric vehicle meant shelling out $70,000 or more. Tesla, Mercedes, and Porsche had the spotlight. But then BYD stepped in and flipped the script. Take the BYD Han, a flagship electric sedan that's making serious waves. It's got the looks of a luxury coupe, the speed of a sports car, and the smarts of a tech-savvy commuter. Dual motors, lightning-fast acceleration, a cutting-edge 945V electrical system, and ultra-quick charging capabilities. And the interior? Leather seats, ambient lighting, and a cabin-wide infotainment system that rivals anything in the luxury space. But here's the kicker. It costs nearly half as much as a Tesla Model S or a Mercedes EQS. That's not a discount, it's a disruption. So how does BYD pull it off? It comes down to one word: control. BYD is vertically integrated from top to bottom. They make their own batteries, their own chips, even their own motors. They don't rely on outside suppliers for key components, which means lower costs, fewer delays, and better efficiency. As one BYD product manager put it, "We're not cutting corners, we're cutting waste." That strategy doesn't just make cars more affordable, it makes them better built. Everything is designed to work together, and that synergy shows in the performance. For emerging markets, places like India, Brazil, and Southeast Asia, this is a game changer. Drivers there want performance and comfort, but can't afford Western luxury EV prices. BYD is handing them an alternative that delivers on both fronts. Even in mature markets like Europe, price-conscious buyers are taking notice. Why spend $60K for a badge when you can get the same features for $30K and still have enough left over for? Solar panels at home? This isn't just a price war, it's a value revolution. And just when you think BYD's playbook is all about power and price, they surprise you again by making sustainability a core part of the experience. Let's look at how they're building not just cleaner cars, but a cleaner future. Cleaner, greener, and more practical. At its core, BYD isn't just building electric vehicles. They're building a vision for a cleaner world. This isn't about chasing headlines or flashy specs. It's about solving real-world problems with practical, sustainable technology. And the way BYD approaches that goal is what sets them apart. Unlike some automakers who bolt on sustainability as a selling point, BYD builds it into everything, from design to production. Their Blade battery, for instance, is a game changer not just for performance, but for the planet. Made with lithium iron phosphate, LFP, instead of cobalt or nickel, it's safer to produce, longer lasting, and more environmentally responsible. These materials are easier to source ethically and far less toxic, making recycling more feasible and reducing dependence on rare, conflict-prone minerals. Their sustainability efforts also stretch across manufacturing. BYD factories are increasingly powered by solar energy, use water recycling systems, and are designed to minimize waste. They aren't just producing green vehicles, they're working to produce them greenly too. And then there's the product lineup itself. Take the Song Plus DMI, a plug-in hybrid SUV designed for efficiency without sacrifice. It sips fuel at just 4.5 liters per 100 km in hybrid mode while offering long-range electric-only driving. In countries where charging infrastructure is still catching up, these hybrids provide a crucial bridge, letting people drive cleaner without being limited by access to chargers. As one company executive put it, "We're not here to sell dreams, we're here to solve real problems." And those problems aren't small. Air pollution is choking cities, climate change is driving extreme weather, and fuel costs are rising worldwide. People need real options, vehicles that are affordable, reliable, and good for the planet. That's exactly what BYD is delivering. Their vehicles don't ask you to compromise. They give you freedom, comfort, and technology while helping you leave a smaller footprint. It's not about being perfect, it's about being better. And BYD is making better the new normal. But even with all this progress, there are still serious challenges ahead. Let's take a closer look at the technical and political roadblocks that could slow BYD's global momentum. Speed bumps ahead, technical and political challenges. BYD might be hitting top gear in the EV race, but even the fastest drivers encounter roadblocks. And in BYD's case, the hurdles aren't just about building a better car, they're about navigating an entire ecosystem that's still catching up. The biggest challenge? Infrastructure. While BYD's 5-minute charging claim is jaw-dropping, making it work outside of China is a whole different story. Most countries simply don't have the power grid or the public charging stations to handle 1,000 kWh chargers. Right now, many Western cities still struggle to maintain consistent access to 150 kW fast chargers. BYD's new tech needs nearly 7 times that capacity. Then there's the energy demand itself. A 1,000 kilowatt charger can draw more power in 5 minutes than a suburban home uses in a day. Multiply that by hundreds of cars charging at once, and you're looking at serious strain on local grids. Without massive upgrades, think new substations, advanced cooling systems, and heavy-duty transformers, this kind of ultra-fast charging may stay limited to a few showcase locations for a while. On the political front, BYD also faces strong headwinds. Countries like the US and members of the EU have already begun tightening trade regulations, introducing tariffs and tax penalties aimed directly at curbing the influx of Chinese-made EVs. These moves are often justified in the name of leveling the playing field. But for BYD, they're a calculated obstacle designed to slow their momentum. But here's what sets BYD apart. They adapt fast. Instead of pulling back, they're pushing forward, building production plants in Hungary to serve Europe and exploring Mexico as a strategic base for entering the US market. By assembling vehicles locally, they can bypass trade restrictions and qualify for regional incentives. One senior BYD executive summed it up best. Every barrier is a signal. It tells us where to build next. This kind of resilience isn't just impressive, it's essential. Because the EV revolution won't be won on innovation alone. It'll be won by the companies that can turn global challenges into opportunities. And as the competition scrambles to react, BYD is forcing them all to rethink what's possible and what's next. Speaking of reactions, let's take a look at how the global auto industry is scrambling to keep up with BYD's new pace. Western wake-up call, the industry responds. When BYD unveiled its game-changing 5-minute charging technology, it didn't just make headlines, it triggered a global alarm. Western automakers didn't roll their eyes, they hit the panic button. This wasn't just about shaving off a few minutes at a charging station. It was a paradigm shift, a direct challenge to the EV strategies of companies that once thought they had time. Suddenly, brands like Ford, GM, Volkswagen, and even Tesla found themselves watching the rearview mirror because BYD was gaining fast, and it wasn't slowing down. One auto executive reportedly said, "We built our timeline for 2030. BYD built theirs for tomorrow." And that's the heart of the problem. Most legacy automakers mapped out decade-long EV plans, gradual transitions, cautious rollouts, and multi-year R&D cycles. BYD just leapfrogged all that with a real-world product that blows up the old timeline. Now many are in emergency acceleration mode. Ford is scrambling to expand battery partnerships. GM is reassessing its software stack and platform flexibility. Volkswagen is restructuring its EV division to speed up delivery cycles. And behind the scenes, lobbyists are working overtime. In both Washington and Brussels, policymakers are being pressured to introduce tariffs, regulations, and EV credits that slow the Chinese tide. Some argue it's about fairness. Others admit it's about survival. But here's the truth. Tariffs can't stop innovation. They might delay the impact, but they can't erase it. BYD didn't just out-innovate the West. They exposed the cracks in an old system, one that relied on brand loyalty, market dominance, and slow-motion progress. Now those rules are being rewritten. Automakers that once led the global conversation are now playing defense. The race is no longer about who has the flashiest concept car. It's about who can deliver real results. Today, not tomorrow. And BYD is forcing that conversation. As Western giants scramble to respond, there's another shift quietly taking place among consumers themselves. Because what happens in the boardroom is one thing, but the real change, that's happening on the streets, in driveways, and in everyday lives. Let's explore how this new tech is rewriting what buyers expect from their next car. Consumer hesitation starts to fade. For years, electric vehicles were surrounded by doubts. People had the same questions over and over. What if I run out of charge on the highway? Will I be able to find a charger near my house? Aren't EVs way too expensive for the average person? But BYD is systematically removing those barriers, not with hype, but with hard facts and solid products. Their latest EVs now offer faster charging than most smartphones, with some models reaching 250 miles of range in just 5 minutes. That alone is changing the conversation at the dealership and online. Suddenly, a range anxiety sounds like a problem from 5 years ago. Pair that with vehicles priced lower than many mid-tier gas cars, and it's no surprise that more people are giving EVs a second look. One customer summed it up perfectly. When a car charges faster than my phone and costs less than a Toyota, why wouldn't I consider it? And here's where BYD really shines. They're not just making EVs for tech enthusiasts or luxury buyers. They're making practical, everyday cars for real people. Drivers who need something affordable, reliable, and easy to maintain. That's a market far bigger than the early adopters ever were. But beyond the specs, it's the growing trust that's changing minds. People are starting to believe in EVs, not just as a concept, but as their next real car. BYD isn't making promises for 2030. They're delivering in 2025, and as more folks switch over and share their positive experiences, shorter fueling times, lower maintenance, and cheaper running costs, the ripple effect kicks in. What was once a hesitant decision is becoming a confident lifestyle shift. This isn't just about replacing gas with electricity, it's about reshaping daily life. How we drive, how we fuel, how we think about mobility. And when the lifestyle changes, expectations change too. People start asking more from their vehicles and less from the gas pump. Up next, let's look at what this shift means in day-to-day life. How does a 5-minute charge change how we think about road trips, commutes, and convenience? Let's find out what 5-minute charging really means for daily life. Imagine this: you pull into a charging station, grab a coffee, and before you can even take a sip, it's done. Your EV is charged and ready. That's not science fiction anymore. That's what BYD's 5-minute charge aims to make standard. This changes everything. No more planning charging breaks into your schedule. No more worrying if a full charge will take an hour or more. It's also a game changer for urban EV adoption. City drivers with no home chargers often hesitate to go electric. But with this new tech, charging becomes as quick and convenient as gas. Even for road trippers or fleet operators, it means less downtime and more flexibility. And let's talk energy cost. Fast doesn't mean wasteful. BYD's platform balances speed with thermal management, preserving battery life and efficiency. The result? A car that adapts to your life, not the other way around. And if BYD can pull that off at scale, then they're not just making EVs easier, they're making them inevitable. That's exactly what their next big goal is all about. 10 million EVs by 2030. Ambitious? Absolutely. Unrealistic? Not if you know how BYD moves. The company's goal is crystal clear: to produce and sell 10 million new energy vehicles globally by the year 2030. That's not just a flashy number. It's a direct challenge to every major automaker still figuring out their EV playbook. For comparison, many legacy brands are still aiming for half that figure by the same deadline. But here's what makes BYD's vision feel achievable. It's not just talk. Unlike companies that release ambitious goals without real infrastructure behind them, BYD is already doing the groundwork. They've built a massive manufacturing base across China, but they're not stopping there. Assembly plants are already operational or in progress in Thailand, Brazil, Hungary, and even rumored expansions into Mexico, giving BYD a smart workaround for global trade restrictions. And they're not focused on one vehicle type. From compact hatchbacks to luxury sedans, SUVs, electric buses, and delivery trucks, BYD is pushing out a diversified lineup that fits both individual and commercial use cases. That wide reach allows them to serve vastly different markets under one cohesive strategy. We're not just chasing numbers, a BYD spokesperson said. We're chasing transformation. Their formula is simple but powerful: in-house battery tech, vertical integration, and constant innovation. By cutting out middlemen and controlling their own supply chain, BYD can scale faster and cheaper than most of its rivals. And that includes Tesla in many key markets. And the early signs show it's working. In 24 alone, BYD surpassed 4 million vehicle sales globally, outpacing several major Western brands and inching closer to its 10 million milestone. But this isn't just a race to sell cars, it's a race to change how the world moves, to make clean, accessible mobility the default, not the luxury. If BYD hits this target, it will do more than set a sales record. It will likely mark the end of the dominance of gas-powered vehicles and force every automaker on Earth to adapt or fall behind. And as that tipping point approaches, it's clear. BYD isn't just betting on the future, they're building it. Coming up next, what that future really looks like and why gas cars might never fully recover. Gas cars may never recover. Let's be honest, this isn't just about one company or one innovation. It's about a shift so massive that the auto industry may never look the same again. BYD's 5-minute EVs are more than fast. They're symbolic. They show that electric can be better, cheaper, and more practical than gas. Not someday. Now, this tech breakthrough isn't a gimmick. It's a line in the sand. Gas-powered vehicles, once the undisputed kings of the road, now look outdated, inconvenient, and overpriced. Their biggest advantages, refueling speed, affordability, accessibility, are slipping away. And with BYD leading the charge, they might not come back. BYD didn't just end the gas car era, one analyst said. They redefined what cars should be. And that redefinition is spreading fast, from Shenzhen to Sao Paulo, from Bangkok to Berlin. The auto world isn't just witnessing a revolution, it's being overtaken by it. And BYD is in the driver's seat. This is no longer about catching up. It's about holding on. Because the future of mobility, it's electric, it's global, and it's charging in 5 minutes flat.